up, you guys? The Curious Owl here, and welcome back to another Top 5 Wednesdays. So, this week's Top 5 Wednesday is focusing on creating your own fan cast for your favorite series or book. So, my all-time favorite series, if you guys haven't figured that out with the last several Top 5 Wednesdays, is The Morganville Vampires by Rachel Caine. I love this series so much because it's got the perfect balance of action and romance and all kinds of mystery and surprises and suspense, and it's just such a great YA vampire series. I just love it so much. It's probably the only series I will ever read with vampires that I will actually thoroughly enjoy. There's been a couple of others over the years that I've really enjoyed, but this is the one by far that tops it the most because Rachel Caine was able to balance things so well. So with this Top 5 Wednesday, you're supposed to pick 5 people that you would want to play your characters in the movie. I actually ended up picking 6 because I did end up figuring out that there is one other person to play a fairly major character throughout the story that I felt worked. So without further ado, let's get into my fan cast for the Morganville Vampires. So the story focuses on our main character, who is 16-year-old Claire. Now in the beginning of the story, you find out that Claire was supposed to go to MIT for early college. Basically, she was able to graduate early and go to college very early, but her parents were not comfortable with her moving out of the state of Texas, and so they decided to have her go to a more community college in Morganville, Texas. And when she arrives there, she finds out very quickly that the town is overrun by vampires and ends up becoming actually kind of like a pet for the vampires, someone that they can kind of control, but she is a link between the humans and the vampires in the town. So the person that I would most likely want to play Claire would be somewhere along the lines of Anna Kendrick. Anna Kendrick has been in a lot of movies recently since Pitch Perfect, and she's done a lot of supporting roles over the years. Claire's a very sweet woman, she's very intelligent, but she also has a bit of a badass in her, especially once she gets through most of the series. So I feel that Anna would be able to portray her very well because she can be very edgy, where she can be very badassy as she is seen in her role of Becca in Pitch Perfect, but then in another movie that Anna was in, The Accountant, with Ben Affleck, she was much more reserved, much more quiet, and I definitely feel that Anna is able to play both sides of that, and so I think playing the progression of Claire, Anna would do an amazing job with it. One of the other main characters in the novels is Shane, and he is kind of Claire's love interest. He doesn't become the love interest until kind of much further down the line, but she is in love with this man. Shane is the total rocker, edgy guy. He's very sweet, he's very protective, especially of Claire. He feels a need to constantly have to watch out for her, and he doesn't trust the vampires one bit. He is incredibly skeptical of everything that the vampires stand for, and he just does not like them. So the person I can think of that would best fit the character of Shane would probably be Austin Butler, who many of you may know as the boyfriend to Vanessa Hudgens, who is from High School Musical. He was also in Zoe 101 when I was a kid, and he has been in several movies, and I think he's right now in the Shannara Chronicles, I want to say. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he's a main character in that show. And for some reason, although Shane is a much more bulky guy than Austin is, Austin has the kind of look that I feel that Shane has, where he's very chiseled. He's very much got a very strong build, but is able to still be worked on. I just feel like Austin has that kind of an edge to him that, is not seen but can be played up so much, as opposed to, many of the roles we have seen of him in the past. Then there is my favorite character of the entire series, and her name is Eve. Eve is our resident goth kid in Morganville. She's grown up her entire life being goth and punk, and nobody's really understood her. She dresses in all black and purples and pinks and all kinds of stuff that you would find at Hot Topic, and I just love her to bits because she's so freaking energetic, and she just livens up any scene she is in. But when you piss her off, you better run for the hills, because Eve will literally cut you if you piss her off or you hurt someone she loves. So the person I thought best fit this was actually not a surprise, but it's Ashley Greene, and the reason I picked her was because I remember how she played one of the Cullen kids in Twilight, and I just remember looking at her and seeing her with her pixie cut hair, and then reading the Morganville Vampires and remembering, she actually would look very much like Eve, and she could easily play off the gothic kind of punky kind of look. She's much older than Eve is, because Eve is only like 18 years old in the story. She's already played that kind of energetic but also very sullen kind of a character, as we've seen in Twilight, and I don't know, just something about the way she looks just reminds me me of how I had imagined Eve when I had first read the series, and I just can't get her out of my head. The next character is actually really hard to figure out a good actor for, but the actor I did choose for him was actually another person that was in Twilight and was another part of the Cullen family. And so before I go into who it is, I want to tell you guys about the character. So the character I'm picking is for the character of Michael, who is basically, I think he's the oldest of the entire group of teenagers that are in this story, but he is actually kind of a weird kind of a character because there's something about him that you're not sure about throughout part of the story, and then once you get through a good chunk of the first novel, you find out a lot about him, and the fact that he is kind of a hybrid of different things, and so he's just a really cool character. He's a rocker, he's very talented musically, and he has this kind of like dreamy, kind of angel-like persona to him, but he is far from innocent, let me tell you. So the person I decided that I wanted to play Michael was going to be Jackson Rathbone, who played Jasper in Twilight. Now the reason for some reason I just couldn't picture anyone other than him, because I remember how he looked in Twilight with his blonde curly hair, and especially in Breaking Dawn, I think it was, when Bella cuts her finger opening her presents and he like goes full on beast mode. For some reason, I could just see that blonde curly mess of hair being my Michael, because I just the golden color of his hair and how he looked with it, and his overall kind of demeanor in the Twilight series was very reminiscent of the character of Michael throughout the book. And finally, the fifth and final character that I would want to pick for my cast is for the main vampire in the story, whose name is Amelie. Amelie is pretty much the founder of Morganville. She is the oldest vampire in the town. She is the oldest and wisest one there is, and she runs basically the entire vampire community. She is the one that also decides that Claire is going to be kind of their little pet, and basically enlists her as part of their team in order to be a kind of liaison between the humans and the vampires, as well as incorporating her and learning about a lot of things with another character that I will mention in a minute. But the person I can really see playing Amelie well is actually Tilda Swinton. Now, you may know Tilda Swinton. She played the Snow Queen in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe from Narnia. She's been in a lot of movies recently. The most recent one I can think of was Doctor Strange, and she was the character that basically taught Doctor Strange all of his abilities and how to open himself up. For some reason, whenever I thought of the character Amelie, she always had a very androgynous face to me. Although she was incredibly regal, she was very androgynous looking. She was very much able to kind of disguise herself very well. And Tilda Swinton, I've always felt, is very androgynous in her looks. She can be bald, she can have pixie hair, she can have long hair, and she just looks different but also ethereal in a way, and that is the exact way I would want my Amelie to look, is ethereal and regal but also incredibly androgynous and able to kind of morph herself into really anything. And an honorable mention, I will say, because he is another one of my favorite characters in the entire series, is the character of Myrnan. Now, I've talked about Myrnan a couple of times, but he is the second oldest vampire. He's essentially the left-hand man of Amelie. He is the one that teaches Claire all about alchemy and all kinds of different things that the vampires are able to let her know. She learns all about them and different metaphysics and all kinds of different stuff. But he's also incredibly volatile in the fact that he does not ever have one switch. He's always going from one side of him to the other, where he's incredibly bloodlusty, and he is just craving blood all the time. And then he's actually a really goofy kind of guy. And as weird as it is, for those of you who have read the series, you may not have thought of this off the top of your head, but I thought of Tom Hiddleston as my Myrnan, because when I saw him in the very first Thor movie, and he gets that big smile on his face where he just looks so devious and creepy with his long dark hair and that nice chiseled jaw of his, I immediately saw Myrnan in his face. If you just added a set of fangs to him, he would look damn fine as Myrnan. Oh my god. I love Tom Hiddleston as an actor personally. He's just such a great actor and is able to be morphed in so many ways. And I know for a fact that if he was to play Myrnan, he would easily play Crazy Mirren so freaking well. He is just so adaptable and so easy to get to create different kinds of characters if you tell him to. Like, I feel like he would just be one of the easiest people to work with because he'd be so moldable and so malleable to where you could shape him into being the Mirren that you would want from the books in real life. Just, oh, I cannot say enough about Tom Hiddleston. Oh my god. But there you guys go. Those are my 5 and actually 6 picks for my fan cast for the Morganville Vampires by Rachel Kane. If you have read this series, or at least read a little bit of the series, let me know down in the comments below what your guys' thoughts are for who you would cast as main characters, or even characters like Oliver, or Shane's father, or Eve's parents, or anyone really in the series that you can think of that you would want someone to be in the movie. So just let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. If you liked my list, if not, let me know why and who you would pick instead. But anyways, also make sure to go check out the Top 5 Wednesday Goodreads groups that you guys can stay up to date with what topics are coming up next if you decide to partake in them. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already and you'd like to be, hit that button down below to subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!